I mean, there's only one thing to do is win the football game. And if you want bragging rights and you want to be able to walk wherever you want in Arizona, you win that football game.
We are getting set to welcome Cam Skattebo onto the show. All of you in here right now, make sure you hit that like button for your Heisman candidate. Make sure you are subscribed to PHNX Sports. And now, let's do it. Let's bring on the man himself, Cam Skattebo in the building, RB1 for the number 14 ranked Arizona State Sun Devils. Cam, how you doing, man?
Oh, Scott.
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always a blessing. So
Glad you're here. Glad you're here.
How are you feeling after BYU? I mean, that might be the biggest win that this program has seen in a decade plus, and of course, you a massive part of that. What was that moment like for you?
it was awesome because we didn't know if we had it yet, and then they ended up catching the ball at the 2-yard line, and it's like, oh man. But after the game, man, it was just a blessing to be there. I mean, I had to get off the field because I knew I was going to get harassed being out there because I did last time. And but just a surreal feeling of everybody, the proud and the proudness of everybody and the happiness that has come to Tempe has been awesome. And that's what I love to play the game for.
What is that feeling like for you? Because, coming from Sac State, you're now in a bigger college football environment, but the whole country has now, fallen in love with Cam Skattebo. I've seen you've been called America's running back. What does that feel like, being so represented not only well in the community here, but also nationally now?
It's awesome because, I never thought I'd be in that situation. But I've always put myself to the test, and the fact that it's now all coming to life and fruition, it's been great because people are starting to understand who I am and how I play the game. Let alone, I just started my own little streaming. So now people are going to start to be able to get a hold of me, of my personal life, and be able to see who I really am outside of football. So, but it's just been awesome to be able to, make people happy. That's what I do. That's what I play football for, is to give people enjoyment and hope that they can understand what they can do in life.
So last night you started your first stream, right?
Correct.
On Twitch or?
Correct, on Twitch.
What's your plug your stuff?
The Twitch is Cam Skattebo 5.
Love that. What'd you play?
I was at Call of Duty last night with a couple of the boys.
Nice. Who was playing?
Me, and then one of my linebackers I played with at Sac State.
Are you good?
I'm not too bad.
Yeah, right.
More of a sniper guy. Kind of
Do you quick scope? Do you try tricks or trick shots, anything like that?
I mean, I get my shots in however I can.
That is not what I would have pegged Skat as
a sniper.
Yeah, no, that's not what I would have.
What do you say? LMG?
I just run and gun, maybe a tack knife.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, I could do it all, but sniping's fun for me. That's how I find my fun.
I'm the same way. I like the sniping those games. Maybe a little one-on-one. Maybe you can meet me on Rust or something like that. I don't know. I feel like that might be the only thing that I have a chance to beat you in. I do
you
want
think he has a better chance to tackle you or to beat you?
To beat him in COD. Are you kidding me?
I'm not the best.
Maybe he's got that much confidence.
But I am pretty good.
Yeah, I think that he would probably be a little bit more confident in football. Not to speak for you, Cam, but before we move away from BYU and kind of more focus forward, I do want to talk about maybe the coolest thing that I've ever seen on a football field, and that was you signing the ball. Now I know there's a penalty that went along with it, and probably won't do it again, but I know those were your boys. What was that moment like for you? Senior night, you're up on the number 14 team in the country, of course, Big 12 championship hopes on the line, 3 touchdowns in the first half, and there you see friends right there on the sideline, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to sign the ball for them.
Yeah, I mean, the touchdown before, he stuck the ball out in the pen, and I was kind of out of the way, and I didn't want to go back to do it. So I literally, you watch me on the TV, I told him the next touchdown. So I knew I was going to score again, which was, I didn't know, but I knew, you know, and it happened to be directly at him. And I tried to get my lineman behind me, so I didn't get penalized, but it happened, and Dillingham was mad, but we're over it now, and we're on to the next game. So
we got to give you a little grace, right? Senior day,
Yeah, he wasn't too, he was mad in the moment, but he forgave me, and he knows that I always got his back, and that I won't do that again if it comes down to it, especially in a tight game.
So if I pull out a football for you to sign when I'm there in Tucson on
I
Saturday,
might tell
it's
you
a
to
no-go?
wait till after the game.
Okay. I don't want to be a reason for a penalty either. I don't want people coming at me either.
So last thing before we move on about that game, obviously game end situation, deja vu, throw the ball up. There's still time left on the clock. That after that first field storming, did you know that the game wasn't over yet? Did you have a feeling, or did you think it was over?
Once they said that there was 1 second left, I knew we had to go back out there.
Yeah.
So I kind of ran over to the tunnel, waited for everybody, to kind of clear out a little bit. And then people weren't moving, so I went over there and moved them myself. But I knew our guys were going to make it happen, I had a full faith in our defense to not let one person catch a football in the end zone with 7 guys back there. Somehow he came down with it. That guy's a great player. Chase Roberts was a great player. That's an NFL guy one day, but I knew we were going to win that game even with 1 second left. So
now I don't mean to stir the pot, but I'm genuinely curious because after the game, Chase Roberts, that same player, gave credit, but also said that he hopes that he plays the Sun Devils in the Big 12 championship and that BYU would smack ASU. As a competitive person yourself, what is it like hearing that? Is there anything extra? It's like, okay, well now I want to play them too, or is it just business as usual? Go forward.
Yeah, I'd say business as usual. I mean, every time you lose, you're always going to want your get back. And that's just how the world works, And if you never get to play that team again, you're always going to hold that against yourself until you do, or if you beat them. And then losing twice would suck. And then you'd want to do it again and do it again and do it again until you won. And then the one win after 6 games would make you feel better about yourself. But, it's business as usual. No matter who we play, we're going to give it our all. And I'm not too worried. I'm ready to go, ready to play whoever we got.
Well, this Saturday, pretty big game.
Yep.
Hate week, Arizona State. We had Kenny Dillingham on earlier in the week, and he mentioned last season he felt like he maybe spent too much time trying to, show everybody what this rivalry means. And obviously, he doesn't have to do that as much this year. But what does the Arizona State rivalry mean to you, somebody who transferred into ASU?
Yeah, I didn't really know last year what it was about. And then I had some friends and family that were U of A, now ASU, were ASU, now U of A. And it's deep. And I'm starting to realize that. And, after the game last year, and you go into Tucson, and I've been to Tucson a couple times, and you hear it. Like you don't get by it, And there's only one thing to do is win the football game. And if you want bragging rights and you want to be able to walk wherever you want in Arizona, you win that football game. And that's our goal at the end of the day. And I know this tradition is a lot for everybody on both sides. And it's the matter of donors too. You win this football game, you could gain 10 more donors. If you lose this football game, you can lose 10 donors. So it means a lot for the school, not only the fans, but it means a lot for everything, really.
Have you found yourself at all kind of telling people that weren't here last year how much this means? Have you, because now that you've experienced it, now you know more about it. Do you find yourself in that role where you're like, this U of A game means this to either freshmen or transfers?
Yeah, number one, you look at Sam. He came in from Michigan State, from Oregon. He has no idea. Obviously, he knows, he understands what's going on. But the same situation I was in last year, I had no idea what was going on. But I think he's the one I've been feeding into the most. Like, you're going to feel the rivalry within the first 2 possessions of the game. You're going to feel the sidelines talking. You're going to hear them. And you're going to understand what the next 3 years of this rivalry is going to be for your football career. And, I'm trying my best to, help him understand. Because at the end of the day, if the quarterback has the fight for the rival and understands it, he's going to do whatever he can to win the football game. And when he can do that, then it's going to be a different showcase.
Rudy had a comment a little bit earlier in the chat that said, cement your legacy, Skat, with this game. And of course, as we've seen over this season with your performance and everything, with the success of the team, it feels like the state and the city is embracing the Sun Devils more and embracing you. We've seen, restaurants beyond just Burrito Express have different items for you. Do you feel that love in the moment? Like, do you feel like, okay, man, like a lot of people are behind us and supporting us now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different from last year, because you see the tweets, you see the Instagram comments, and no matter how famous you are, you still see that stuff. And when I look at that, I don't see very much negativity, and I love that about people that are showing their support and constantly coming to the games and being supporters. And it's awesome because I think all the guys are feeding into it, and they're understanding that people are believing in us. Not only do we believe in ourselves, which is awesome, and it just adds to the pot for sure.
Is there like a correlation between getting that belief in somebody to buy into you off the field, whether it's a fan support or if it's an endorsement, to on-field success? Because it does kind of feel like I think it was Watley who got a car. It was either Watley or Crook who got a deal with a car, and then they get a pick like the next game. You know, it's like kind of weird how that stuff happens. Does that feed into your mentality of like, man, maybe I am like really dang good at this if people are willing to invest in me like that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is obviously the NIL world has changed the lives of many college athletes, and when sponsorships and things come around and start giving you things and offering you offers and stuff, you start understanding that you are now part of their face, and you have to play hard because they're doing something for you that others aren't. So you need to play hard for the fact that they're helping you out. So they're investing their time and money and space into you. And I think that's what feeds into me, you know, that all the people that support me have been doing a great job of constantly helping me out. It just makes me want to play harder. You know, I'm comfortable when I go home. I don't have to, you know, fight for much other than making sure that I'm executing on the field.
Love that. You play hard for people around you, but you also play hard for your brothers on the field and your coach. Kenny has, you know, he's obviously one of the most unique coaches in college football, being the youngest Power 4 coach, but also just this personality. When you see things like in post game for BYU where he's smacking you guys in the chest, he's getting fired up, like what does that mean? And how, more specifically, I guess, how has it been to play for Kenny Dillingham and almost feel like your coach is your friend?
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Your coach being your friend, because I've been around coaches that aren't your friends, and I've been around coaches that are your friends. And the best teams are coached by people that can be your friend. They know when to yell at you, and they know when to have a good conversation with you, and when time's not right, they can let you know when, you know, it's time to lock in. And he does a great job at that. And being able to relate to him off the field, it just makes you want to respect him more when he does get on your butt and tell you like you're wrong, because he's not doing it just out of coaching. He's doing it because he knows who you are as a person, and he knows that you can be better. So the connection between a coach and a player is super strong, and the fact that he connects to us on a personal level is huge.
I think it's also just so awesome because we've preached this for as long as he's been the coach here, and I hope people recognize this now. Like his personality type in post-game pressers, I mean, you see him getting fired up, talking to the refs at the BYU game. Like he's always like that. That it's just Kenny Dillingham. Like he's unapologetically himself off the field, on the field. Is he like that behind closed doors too, during meetings and everything? Is that just coach?
I mean, he's 100% who he is. You guys see everything. You see the way he yells. You see the way, you know, he gets mad. You see when he's happy. You don't see much of his emotional side because he keeps that between his personal life. Obviously, that's what he is. But I mean, we see everything that he is, and you guys see the same thing. And that's who he is. You know, he loves coaching football for Arizona State, and he's going to be who he is, and he hates being somebody he's not. And you can see it every day when he walks around that, you know, he doesn't like to put on a front for anybody, no matter who's there, which is awesome.
So obviously at the end of this year, your time at Arizona State will be over, much to everybody in the chat and even our own sadness, right? You'll be moving on to big things, but they locked up, Arizona State did, Brian Ward and Marcus Arroyo, reportedly for some contract extensions. How important is that to continuing to build what's been going on here, to not just retain Kenny, but his coordinators as well?
I think it's huge because you have to look at who you're bringing in. And when you have a number one JUCO commit in the country commit to you, and then he sees a 3-year contract signing, that's huge because now he knows that that coach is going to be there for 3 years. He knows that if he's got 2 years left, he's going to be with the same guy for 2 years. You know what I mean? And I mean, when you make those deals and that happens, you get the guys you want, and you see that things are successful and people want to be there, and also coaches want to stay there, especially when everything's going right and it's a successful program.
So what has the messaging been from Arroyo, from Kenny, from Sean, like going into this week, this Saturday? What are they telling you guys? Is it any different than what they've been preaching for the first 11 games?
There's a little bit more, but not too much. Like just like BYU, you know, one game at a time. He was talking. He doesn't talk about bowl games. Doesn't talk about playoffs. He doesn't talk about losing or winning. He talks about playing as hard as we can every single game, and he does that every team meeting. He comes in a team meeting and he goes, "We need to play as hard as we can. We need to practice as hard as we can. If we do that, we'll win whatever we want." And that's what keeps us on the right track. Is guys' heads aren't exploding, and then when Coach Dillingham talks about the future, you know, guys, you can hear guys in the team room like, "No, we don't care about that right now. We're focused on this week." And that's a culture switch too. Like that's what has changed is guys aren't trying to focus on what's in the future. They're literally focused day by day, and week by week. So the team's head is on a pair of shoulders and it's going in the right direction.
You can also tell the culture spreads from room to room, talking specifically about going from defense to offense, but also quarterbacks, running backs room. That running back room is not only deep, but you guys also feel so well connected, and there's so many different pieces to it. You know, you have guys like you who have seen it all in college football. You have Jason Brown Jr., who's just starting to experience it. You have guys like Alton McCaskill who have been through unique journeys, and then the head of it is Sean Aguano. How tight is that running back room, and what would you say the identity of it is?
I'd say love. You know, all those guys, I have so much respect for all of them. It kind of makes me emotional because how much I care for those guys. Yeah. But I mean, we all care about each other. We all understand our own talents, and we all have each other's backs every day. You know, Sip comes in the game, DeCarlos comes in the game, and there's not a blink of an eye that, you know, I don't think they can do it or they don't think they can do it, which is awesome. And it's probably the tightest running back room I've ever been in, with zero hate. And that's what makes a room, is when guys are connected and don't hate each other for not playing and playing. I mean, the guy on the bottom loves the guy on the top, and that's how it is to our room. Everybody respects each other. It's awesome.
Can you speak a little bit to those who are unfamiliar with Coach Aguano? I covered him back when he was at Chandler, and he is just one of the most wonderful human beings that I've ever met, let alone a really good football coach. What has he meant specifically to your career and then that running back room as a whole?
He does a lot, you know, because just like Coach Dillingham, he likes to know us on a personal level, you know. He talks about girlfriends and friends and all this other stuff and makes jokes, and, you know, we have a good time in our meetings, and he doesn't just try to nail us about football all the time. He mixes it up here and there. He'll give us a little life lesson. Every couple meetings, he'll throw a life lesson in there about money or girlfriends or wives, and it's awesome because you can see that he's trying to build that connection, but he's also understanding that he's still coach. But I mean, he's had 3 running backs playing in the NFL in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the guys understand that he's a good coach, a really good coach, and he understands talent evaluation. And if you're playing for him, you're probably really good. Yeah. And if he's recruiting you and you're in his room, you're probably really good. So he's been awesome. It means a lot to me that he took the chance on me, which is a blessing, and I'm glad he did.
So we have one question, which Glenn, who has been asking over a couple of super chats, we thank you for all your super chats. Glenn says, "Can you ask Skat if he will sign my mini ASU helmet after the game? I'm sitting row 1 on the visitor side." Now, emphasis on after the game. But one of our chatters, Glenn, is wondering if he can get a little Skattebo autograph.
Yeah, of course. I will be there because it's not too far and the travel home is not too bad. After we win, I did plan on, staying out there, and signing people's things for the fact that they came out there and supported during a rivalry week. Because the people that are going to be there is who it means most to, and that's what I want to do it for. So I will be there, Glenn. If you want to somehow make your way over to our bench after the game, I would be glad to do that.
Love that. One more question about the running back room. You mentioned it yourself. I mean, this has been running back you for as long as I can remember. I mean, going back to when I was in college, like they've had back after back dominating and going to the next level. How much confidence do you have in this room to stay running back you essentially? And like, have you been, do you feel like that's responsibility to sort of teach guys like Jason Brown Jr. and the younger guys, what made you successful?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I talk to Jason all the time. I talk to Kyson all the time. Alto, I mean, those guys, like I said, we're all really close. And we connect very closely. And the fact that, you know, they understand what I've gone through and they listen when I talk. And you can see it, you know, and it means a lot because they respect the fact of who I am and what I've proven. And they know how I've gotten to this place to be successful, and they're taking my word and understanding that Skat is telling me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. So I try to help those guys as much as I can, because at the end of the day, somebody can come in and not tell them anything, you know? So I want to be able to give as much advice and, you know, courage and show them the way as much as I can before I'm out of here.
So Cam, you strike me as somebody who does not need a lot of external motivation. That you just wake up ready to go and ready to play. But as you get to this moment, and I know you're not looking ahead of games, but it's hard not to understand that, you know, the season is coming towards its close, however it might close. Your college football career is inching towards its close as well. The NFL, the next level, is waiting there. Does that motivate you anymore? Is there any extra drive knowing that this might be some of your last chances to make a mark on this sport on this level?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, every day I think about it, that, you know, I only have so many games left in college, and then it turns into a business because at this level with this team and this coach, it doesn't feel like a job, because we're all having fun, we're successful, and we're winning. You never know where you're going to end up in the NFL. You can't pick the team you go to like you can in college. You can't pick the atmosphere you want to be around, and that's the hard part, is you don't know where you're going to be in 8 months from now. And I mean, I'm ready for wherever I'm at, you know, but the fact that going from fun to job to work and business is a different story. But hopefully when I get to the NFL, it's also fun, because I love the game of football, and I do it for football, and I do it for the happiness of others, and winning, obviously. But yeah.
Well, speaking of doing it for fun, the wonderful people at Cronkite found old footage of you when you're 8 years old running?
Yeah, I was around there, 8 or 9. Yeah, I think so. I might have been 7, to be honest.
Do you remember those days and how, and like, what made you fall in love with not only playing football but running people over?
Yeah, I think I always say it. My father, you know, he pushed me into the game, which I fell in love with it instantly as soon as I was introduced to it. But you see in those videos, you just see me having fun. I think one of them, I actually remember till this day, I was running along the sidelines. I broke a couple tackles and I stepped out of bounds. And from that age, I looked at the referee and started screaming, like, what are you talking about? I stepped out of bounds. I wish we had a different angle, because I didn't. I 100% remember I was running along the hashes. My feet were this big. And they called me out of bounds. And I think it was because we were beating the team by 50 points.
So you still stand on the fact that you were in bounds?
Still stand on it, 100%. But, I mean, it just shows, you know, I've been playing the game for a long time, and nothing has changed. And I still play the game the way that I started it.
Last question about your actual game before we get into some more fun stuff. I think the most impressive part, I mean, you do a ton of things well, but I think the most impressive part to me is your balance. How did you learn how to balance? Is that just like a natural instinct of yours, or do you specifically target different workouts, preparation to fine tune that?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know exactly. Obviously, I do different workouts, and there's training I did in the past that's helped. There's training I do now that's helped with mobility wise. But I think it's come natural, just the fact that I've always been playing and just constantly learning how to hit somebody and stay up, how to explode through somebody at the right time. I think that's just been something that I've done my whole life, and it's just kind of carried over. And I start understanding, like, in my head, like, why didn't I run that guy over? Did I hit him too fast? Did I hit him too late? And that's just something I kind of constantly think about is, why did that dude just light me up before I lit him up? Like, it's just the timing of the punch. And I mean, that's just something I've always thought about, and I've never really understood why.
Do you ever surprise yourself? Like when you stay up, or you ever like, oh my God, how am I still running?
100%. I think my biggest shock my whole life, obviously, was the state championship run that we showed last time, and then the one last year against USC.
Oh my God. On the sideline.
I think that was like my biggest holy crap moment. Like, I hit the dude, and then I hit another guy, and like trampled over the top of him and stayed up. Like, I literally looked up and was like, nothing but green grass, and I was like, let's go. Like, how am I still here? And then I got in the end zone, and I just did the praying hands. Like, I had no idea how I got there, and I was just blessed to be there. It was awesome.
So I have a question. It's kind of about your game, kind of not, but I was on the field, BYU game, as about to kick off. I'm walking down the sideline, and I see you go up against the wall, and you spread your arms out like this, and your eyes are closed, and it's almost like you're in like a meditative stance. Is that always like a pregame ritual for you, or is that just like spur of the moment decision?
Yeah, I do that every pregame. It's a prayer that I say that, I promise myself that I have my teammates' backs and everybody in front of me that's standing in front of me on the sidelines, that I won't let them down.
That's huge. I like that. I like that a lot. I was like, I wonder what's going through his head, because like they're screaming fans right over you. Everybody's taking the field, and it's just like you're in this calm state. Just
100%.
arms
And
out.
it calms me down as well. Talking to God is something I don't do often, but I do like to do it.
So we do have some questions from the chat. I'll start with some easy ones. What's your favorite color?
Matte olive green.
Wow.
Ooh, I like that.
I seen a matte olive green Tesla the other day, and I was like, oh, that color's sick. I think that's my all-time favorite color. Like, if I had to pick majority of things to be that color, is like, it would be that one.
Okay, we also have a question. I don't know if they're asking this question because they know or they think that you're a wrestling fan. I'm not sure if you're a wrestling fan, but they want to know who your favorite wrestler is. I don't know if that's something that you've ever dipped your toes into.
Not really. 619 Rey Mysterio.
There you go.
I mean, I watched, me and my papa used to watch WWE and stuff when I was growing up every Monday night. And that was kind of how I bonded with him before he passed away, which is, it was an awesome time to have that with him. But after that, I didn't really watch much of it, to be honest.
Short Buzz, one of our diehards, asked, Skat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how glad are you that you didn't go to U of A?
I'm glad. I'm very glad.
Put it at a 10?
Yeah, 100%. Because, they had a coach there that they thought was going to be promised to stay and have success there. And after going 9-3, he was ready to bounce. He had no faith in them. He had no faith in the program that he could stay there and continuously win. And then, he goes over to Washington and stops winning.
Yeah,
so
didn't work out for anybody.
Whoops.
It's really just, it's the fact that they didn't even look at me. It just shows me more that, wow, this team doesn't like me at all. So the coach, like I said last time, the coach that's there now actually did recruit me at San Jose State, but still, at the end of the day, like, I'm glad I didn't end up down there for sure.
Big Tonka wants to know who your favorite rapper is.
I'm a big underground rapper, so there's just a lot different ones.
Drop a name, put some people on.
Well, I'll just say my pregame song is Fat Low Freestyle by Prince 4BP. He was one of my defensive backs at Sacramento State.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that song that he has kind of hypes me up every game.
You know what we didn't actually get to ask him about? I'm sorry to derail this. Questions from the chat. But in the UCF game, that clip went viral of you talking to Kenny. Were you actually asking him to put you in the game?
100%. I think
is that legal? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, because I wasn't technically ruled that I couldn't. I think the only thing we would have had done was if I put clothes on, if I put pads on, someone had to take pads off.
Yeah.
And because you can only suit up so many people, and the fact that I didn't suit up, he was like, we can't suit you up. You already missed a half. You're not going to play.
What did you say to him?
I said, put me in the game. We're not going to lose this football game. Like, I will do anything I can, like hurt or not. I will play in this football game if we start losing.
I love that. That's
I do love that too. I remember seeing that video. I'm like, there's only one person.
Yeah.
I feel like that would fight that hard. Do you think that he even considered it for a second? Because I feel like if there's any coach who would consider it for a second, it would be Cam.
100%. I mean, I seen it in his face for a second, and he was like, "No, you're not going in." And I was like,
just thinking about it.
I was like, "Please let me in." He's like, "No," like, and I was like, "All right." He's like, he just kept my head on straight and was like, "Let's stay locked into the game, keep your guys up," and that's what I did, and we ended up winning.
Here's another pressing question that I'm sure everybody wants to know: how many? Well, someone asked how many kindergartners. 100 kindergartners. How many people? Let's say what's a good age? 5th grader?
Sure.
How many 5th graders would it take to tackle you?
5th graders?
Yeah.
Let's say they're organized. Brian Ward is organizing a group of 5th graders to tackle
Chaos.
What age is that? 11? 11
I
year
don't
olds?
know. How
I think
old is
so.
a
10-year-old?
Sure. Let's say
11-year-old?
10-year-old.
10-year-old, yeah.
It's gonna take a lot of 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Well, one, they have to catch me,
Okay.
which is
True.
a hard part. Like, I'm not very fast, but I'm faster than
The
90% of 10-year-olds.
Only 90%.
Well,
I
there's
think
some
you're-
fast ones.
I think you're
Well,
faster than
probably
100%.
99.
Okay.
There's
You know
probably
what?
a couple
I'm gonna say
10-year-olds that are out there.
I'm going to say 100.
There's
I think
probably
you're
a couple-
faster than 100%
No.
of 10-year-olds.
There's
No.
a couple 10-year-olds on that track.
Yeah.
The Olympics in the world that are
They're
really
training
fast.
them young
you know?
nowadays.
Okay.
There.
There's young fast people out there,
Uh-huh.
but I'd say 100 is a good number.
Okay.
That it'd probably take 100 of them to get me down.
That's fair.
I'm imagining that in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Just 100 10-year-olds trying to tackle Cam Skattebo.
Do you think that if this, like, you've seen people that work here, do you think if we fielded a whole defense, 11 people, that this office could take you down if we're all padded?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think all of us.
I mean, as grown adults, like, if one person in here has like any physical mindset, like, and they hit me, and then people come along with them, like, there's no.
I don't know if the
there's no
mindset's
way,
there for enough people.
There's no way you can get out of there. Like,
somebody would have to lead the
if
charge.
somebody can like take full like dive at the kneecaps, and then someone else rallies with them,
I think
there's a
Totri
possibility for sure.
would start.
I think Totri and I would have to be up front. I think it'd be me and Totri arm in arm, locked in, running full speed, me dragging him along because his legs are trying to keep up.
Megan wants to know your zodiac sign.
Yes.
Aquarius.
Okay.
Yep, I am an Aquarius. February 5th is my birthday, so.
There you go. The hard-hitting questions.
everyone
We have
needed to
time
know.
for maybe one or two more questions, guys. Make sure you hit that like button if you are joining us on Samsung TV. The party always continues over at gophnx.com. There was a question from Saul in the chat earlier asking if you're going to be going to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
I haven't gotten any update. I haven't got any word. I did see I was number 5 on ESPN's ranking, so
How does that make you feel?
That was pretty cool. I try not to let it get to my head, but it's always cool to see those things and understand that all the work I've put in has gotten me to this point, and there's still more games to play. So if I keep playing good and the number keeps getting higher and higher, then awesome.
William wants to know if we can maybe see an attempted hurdle from you.
I'll leave that one to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because
little Saquon
I'm not going to tell
backwards
you.
hurdle?
I'm not going to tell you when it's going to happen, but they will see one this season.
So for
Okay.
sure it's
Yes.
going to happen.
100%.
Last thing from me, touchdown celebrations. Is this a heartbreaker or what is it?
100%.
Where did that come
So
from?
I actually went and had a good time with my buddies on the hockey team. Tucker Ness.
Yes.
He shoots the arrow and breaks the heart, and he was like, we were out, and he was like, dude, you have to do this celebration, like when you guys score and take the lead. And I believe it was Utah. It was the first time I did it. When I scored that crazy touchdown, and we took the lead. It was like, this is a perfect heartbreaker moment. Like, we're gonna break your heart right now. So I think also the time I did it in this last game, we went up 14-0. It was another good opportunity, like 14-0 is a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard to come back from
It's
early.
a hard celebration.
And so it's Tucker Ness. I'll give him a shout out. He gave me that one. But it's been working. People like it.
You know what I need to hear on a call? Once you get in the end zone, it'd be like Cam Skattebo with the heartbreaker. Like that would be nice. Maybe that would be somebody's favorite moment from the season. True ASU Devil wants to know what your favorite moment of the season has been so far.
My favorite moment of the season it's got to be, the first rank win over Utah, obviously. Like, that kind of solidified what we were about and the physicality we brought to the team and how the guys kept fighting to win the game. We were only up by 1 point at a time. And then, we understood what we had, and that kind of changed my mindset too as well. Like, this team's really good.
Mm-hmm.
They like each other. They play hard for each other, and there's not much that can get in our way if we stay locked in.
Is that your favorite game that you've played at this school?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I think my favorite game, home or away. Are we talking home here?
Just ASU.
BYU is 100% my favorite home game.
Yeah.
That was elite atmosphere. That was awesome. I mean, Kenny's been talking about activating the Valley, and that was activated. That was sick. And that was for sure my favorite game. But Oklahoma State was really fun.
Yeah.
That's probably
with the weather delay?
That was probably my favorite all around game. I had good yardage on rushing and good yardage in receiving, and I had fun doing it. And then just like I said, I've been circling that. Like I said before the season, that's the one I circled all year. And it was awesome to be a part of that.
Well, you mentioned activating the Valley. We actually have a little something for you here. It is our new Activate the Valley shirt. If you want to go ahead and get that opened up, because you're right. BYU was an incredible atmosphere. Yep. It's the loudest I've heard that place in my time covering Arizona State over the last couple of years. And it's kind of beautiful to see this full circle moment of Kenny comes in a little over a year and a half, 2 years ago, and says he's going to activate the Valley. And now look, here we are, number 14, Arizona State, taking on Arizona in Hate Week. The Valley has been activated. Cam Skattebo has his Activate the Valley shirt. You can go get yours right now at our locker. Go to gophnx.com to see all that. And oh, by the way, maybe you want to wait a day or two for our Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. You could do that as well. But if you are a diehard, as our diehards already know, there is a diehard exclusive early Black Friday sale. There is a code in our diehard Discord. If you're a diehard and you don't know about it, reach out to us. We can get you that code, and you can get your Activate the Valley shirt. You can get everything, some massive discounts for our diehards, and then coming soon to everybody. So be like Skat, be like everybody in the Valley, get activated. There's also another new ASU shirt in there. I'm going to leave people kind of up to surprise. Go check that one out for yourself. Ransom says Skactivate the Valley.
No, absolutely
We're not doing that. We're not co-signing that.
Well, actually, I can't speak for him. What do you think about that?
It's kind of fire.
I kind of like it. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad.
Well, to close out, as Kate asked, what's your final message to ASU fans before this final regular season ASU game?
I'm going to do my best to bring home the Big 12 championship as long as as long as our team is, on the right track, and I think everybody is on the same page, and that's what our end goal is or not our end goal, but for the season closing regular season is we got to make it there, and then bringing home the Big 12 championship would be awesome. And then obviously getting in the college football playoffs and seeing what we do there.
If you want some more of Cam Skattebo, because why wouldn't you? Of course, he now has started Twitch streaming. Cam Skattebo 5, that's
Correct.
what it is on Twitch.
Correct.
Make sure you check that out and all the fun stuff he's
I'm
doing.
gonna stream snipe you. I'm gonna try to get into one
I
of your
swear I
lobbies.
had him last night.
Oh, did you?
I don't know if
Got
I
the
did
haters?
really, but there was 100 people in there, and I was like, okay, well, I was getting some sus deaths, and I was like,
Are you on console
but-
or PC?
PC. But I doubt
I don't want any of that
anybody was in
smoke,
there.
though.
I was about to say, yeah, maybe I don't want to do that one.
I still play on controller though.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, I am terrible with all my fingers at the same time. Like I cannot do keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
Well, Alex D says he just followed you. Make sure you guys go support our guy. Of course, all the different avenues as far as NIL goes across the Valley. I'm sure you have seen them all. Make sure you are supporting Cam Skattebo and getting ready for this Saturday. Of course, PHNX Sun Devils will be out there in Tucson for our takeover. If you're going, we're so excited to see you. We'll be doing a live show there as well. Make sure you follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils on all socials. You can follow Shane at Shane Deef. You can follow myself at Eric Ruby. You can follow the man behind the Mac making all the magic happen, who I so rudely forgot to shout out
That's
at
crazy.
the beginning of the show. Our dear Captain Redbeard at K
Ahoy.
Coop sports. Once again, thank you, Skat, for joining us. Thank all of you in the chat for being here. Hit that like button and subscribe. We'll be back not tomorrow, even though there is an ASU game. No shows tomorrow. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your family. We will be back Friday.
God. What's your favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Favorite Thanksgiving food?
I eat anything.
Boom.
Boom. Perfect.
There we go. That's
not
it.
picky.
We will be back on Friday covering ASU men's basketball. They have a game against New Mexico. And, of course, getting ready for Arizona State in the Territorial Cup. But until then, everybody, go Devils and peace.